you lived through the EMD update, the Panda update, the Penguin updates, the core updates. But now in the position you're in now, you probably don't have to worry too much about these updates.
I guess we kind of do, because we're across multiple sectors. We're across, nutrition, health, and hygiene. So,
You guys make Lysol?
Lysol, yeah.
Yes. Product placement.
So we have to deal with things like the medical updates and the helpful content updates.
Right.
So, there's a lot of things that I guess...
I didn't ever notice that.
Instinctively, we get dragged down through some of these updates. Yeah. And sometimes it's because some of the content is old and out of date, which is fine. Sometimes it's the fact that competitors do things better.
Right.
But one thing I do find is when we sometimes speak to agencies, they're still pitching in this, pyramid schemes, these link wheels. So by knowing all the kind of the stupid things agencies have done in the past, it's very quick and easy to identify dumb things that are still happening. And they're still
so you see a lot of agencies pitching you on these old concepts of SEO.
Yes.
To cheap and fast,
yes,
that used to work that no longer work.
Yes.
So you have something, I assume you guys outsource a lot of your SEO work to agencies here. Or at least you get pitched for it.
Yeah, parts of it.
Parts of it. And you see a lot of this bad stuff. What are the most, give me the top 3 things you got pitched that was like, we're not hiring you, we can't hire you?
I guess the comment spam, forum spam.
People actually pitch, we will spam comments, or they said it in another way?
Yes. No.
They say, we will spam comments, spam. Wow, okay.
So those types of things, again, because you understand that, and you understand the risk of the business in terms of, Penguin updates and stuff.
Right.
But the PR issues, because, of people like Dijon. Remember in the past, he kind of got a little bit sort of caught out for doing some comment spam.
Right, I remember. He dabbled in a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, but again, he's a very, very, very smart marketer, and he tested various things, and some of those things made him a lot of money in the past.
Right.
He was someone who made a massive pivot in his business. So he was someone who shut down a lot of those other projects which were making money because he saw the future of his business was not that.
And now he plans things, and he makes things. I see videos of him doing plan. That's just probably a hobby.
Yeah,
but he still runs Al Guru and stuff like that.
Yeah. But he's someone who, again, moved forward.
Right.
So I do see occasionally a number of agencies, often they're, smaller local agencies who are trying to get extra work of us, but they're still pitching us dumb ideas.
So comment spam is pretty bad. Is there any other examples of agencies that they just do dumb stuff that you want to like?
For me, I guess the big thing is the manual reporting, the Excel files and stuff. And again, it's one thing that I can do it myself, so that I don't know why I'd get an Excel agency to send me an Excel file. As we talked about before the recording, the page title is too short.
Right.
What does that mean? Is it too short because it needs to be? Is it too short because it's not working? Or is it working fine?
Right.
And I think that's the other thing we're starting to look at now, is how you can start to use data to identify, even if the page title is too short, it may actually be working. The page may have a higher than average click-through rate. It may rank for more queries. It may have a better than average position compared to its other pages on the same website.
So let's talk about that. Like, how are you looking at like these content audits where somebody says the page title is too short or too long, or you have the wrong keywords in there? Yep. How do you look at that and say, you're right or wrong?
So what we try to do is we try to use platforms like BigQuery. So we're doing some work with Talk. So Nick Wilsden, he started a tech agency, and we're piping all our API data from tools like Rank Ranger or Content King or SEMrush, Google Search Console, and pushing that data into BigQuery. And within BigQuery, we can start to apply some logic to it. So we're basically making, I guess, our own in-house SEO tools, because we have approximately 800 websites. So if we go to any of the software providers and we want to do this for 800 websites,
right,
that's huge money.
Right.
Like, I think one company quoted us a couple of million. And it's like, but why am I going to spend a couple of million?
Right.
For just one part of the search experience.
Right. You could write that algorithm, hit go, and it can work across as many sites as you want.
But for some of these things, it can even be simple case matching. I guess, looking into tools like Google Data Studio, it can be as simple as, if average position is X and if average click-through is Y, flag this page with this particular label. Like, it is really that simple. So that's when you can start.
So what are you looking at? So average, what are some examples of pages that you could tackle?
So it's ranking first page.
Okay.
And its average click-through rate is lower than the rest of the pages on the site.
Okay. So then you want to adjust the title to get a better, higher click-through rate.
Yeah, if it's just the title, rebuild the page, split the page.
So you're looking at this data for like, how can I improve the click-through rate so people see it on, or maybe add rich results to maybe get people's eyeballs on it.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't have schema and it needs schema. And again, that's where you can start to look at the SEMrush data as well to see on those particular queries. And actually, that's a fun thing. On the new Google Search Console bulk export, it tells you a lot of this information. So it will now tell you if that particular result had some of this rich snippets available to it.
It will tell you in the export itself.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Interesting.
A lot of it's false, so as in no data, but we haven't tested with larger sites yet.
But you would know that. You could bring in your own data into this BigQuery to say, what does this page have? You have
I know, but the bulk export, the beautiful...
Yeah, I should check it out.
Yeah, you can have some real fun.
I should do that. All right, so click-through rate is one thing. What about like pages that are not performing? And determining if you should keep those pages or remove those pages.
Yeah.
How do you determine that?
So I'm not a fan of culling pages unless it's duplicate content.
Okay.
So we had an example in the past where we had a particular page. The agency said we need to merge into one page. They did that. That page now underperforms because it ranks for so many related queries that page can't answer.
Right.
So, we looked in some of the data points for some of our sites. Some pages had 10, 20, 30,000 unique queries ranking for that page. That page cannot answer 10, 20, 30,000 queries.
Wow.
So I think that's, again, a lot of SEOs can benefit by just using some simple data points. And again, sometimes you get false positives. But if you're looking at, 100,000 pages across 800 websites, and you can narrow that down to 1,500 pages that you can then send off to one of your agencies to say, review these 1,500.
Right.
Because these ones are performing better than expected, and these ones are underperforming or under-indexing. And we're talking about under-indexing in terms of amount of clicks or the click-through rate.
All right, so the under-indexing, in my opinion, is like the page is not being crawled and indexed by Google.
No.
Underperforming, it's meaning it's not ranking as well or not getting a click-through rate as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of SEOs have to deal with both, where, I don't know, say 100,000 pages on a website, half of those pages are not being indexed because Google doesn't determine them to be quality enough. Or
so that's the next stage of looking at the data. So then you can ping against the URL inspection API or
the index coverage tool.
Whatever that one is. So there's kind of multiple steps you can go through. And then you can potentially start to use ChatGPT.
To improve it.
Well, to evaluate the page. Like, is this page not ranking because it references old data points or old dates? So, if you have a page of a particular, religious holiday, you're like, this used to perform really well. It doesn't perform very well because you keep talking about, 2015, 2012, 2018, and people are looking for what's happening this year. So you can use AI to start to identify if with the other signals, the page is likely underperforming because the content is not.
Assuming that data, like ChatGPT is 2021
Yeah.
earlier, so Bing is much more recent, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point. Okay.